You don't mean to do it. But the second your partner brings something up, you get defensive. And suddenly you're in another fight. You're not a bad partner. But if you don't understand why this happens, it can destroy your relationship. In this video, I'm breaking down the real reason you react this way and how to stop it before you push your partner away. Getting feedback from your partner, finding out something you said or done has hurt them is not easy. Because let's be honest, underneath that moment, you're probably feeling a wave of guilt, shame, or failing as a partner, like you've let them down. And instead of sitting down with these heavy feelings, these vulnerable emotions, what do most of us do? We want to protect ourselves. So instead of going into these vulnerable feelings, we go into a safer feeling, which is anger and frustration. Maybe we raise our voice to protect ourselves, or we start explaining or defending ourselves. Because that feels safer, doesn't it? It's better than showing your vulnerability and the guilt and shame. Now tell me if you recognize this pattern, like the times you felt guilty, shame, and criticized, and instead of that, you've expressed anger to your partner. Tap the like button if you've been there. So how do you actually know if you're being defensive? Well, sometimes it's obvious. You start interrupting your partner, you go into long explanations of why you did what you did, or maybe you start justifying. But often it's even more subtle than that. So you have to be a really good detective to be able to identify defensiveness. Maybe your tone changes. You say things like, "That's not what I meant." You always think the worst of me. You don't see everything else that I'm doing. Or you're overreacting, "I didn't do anything wrong." Or, "But I was just trying to help. I didn't mean anything." All of these statements are ways we try to protect ourselves from feeling like we're the bad guy. The weird thing is though, your partner is hearing something opposite. So while you're thinking you're trying to fix things and explain yourself and clarify the situation, your partner is sitting there feeling invalidated, dismissed, and not heard. What happens next? In order to feel understood, they keep explaining themselves. They keep repeating themselves. And you're like, what's going on? Here I am explaining, but my partner doesn't get me. And that's how things escalate. So probably when you are explaining or defending, this is what your partner is hearing. You don't get to feel this way. Your feelings are not valid. I'm not listening to you. You're wrong to bring this up. There's something wrong with you. And that's when your partner may start disconnecting from you and they may feel even more distant from you. Or actually that's when a fight starts, or maybe they shut down and withdraw and go to do something else. If you're starting to see this pattern for yourself, or your relationship, you really need to get my free relationship test because it's going to help you figure out the emotional patterns that might be keeping you stuck in your relationship. That's going to give you a clearer picture of how you can change the habits that are actually hurting your relationship. You can take the test completely free at parisacounselling.kit.com/relationship test. Or you can click the link below to download this test. A lot of the couples I work with, especially men, share this exact experience. They don't mean to be defensive, but inside they feel small. They feel like they've failed. When their partner brings up a feeling, they feel like they've let them down and failed as a partner. This hits really deep. Maybe an old memory of a parent who was really critical of them gets activated. Or a teacher who told them, "You're not good enough, you're not good enough of a student, you're not smart enough." Or maybe a relationship where nothing they did was ever right. So now when their partner says something like, "I felt hurt when you brushed me off last night," it doesn't just land as feedback or a bid for connection. It lands more like, "You're a bad partner, you're failing me again." And boom, that's when you feel the defensiveness kick in. You may raise your voice, you may get cold, and turn it around on your partner. Not because you don't care, but because deep down you're trying to avoid this awful feeling of not feeling like you're good enough. Now, let's summarize again and see what happens in a cycle where you're showing defensiveness. Your partner brings something up. You feel criticized, even if they're being kind. You lash out, defend, or shut down. Your partner feels dismissed and unheard. So they get louder and more critical. You feel even more attacked. Now you're stuck in a loop of escalating conflict that could have started over something very trivial, like why did you put the chair down there? Or why didn't you show up at this time? This isn't really a communication issue. This is a miscommunication between two nervous systems trying to protect themselves. What are some of the signs that tell you specifically you're getting defensive in your relationship? Drop one below. I want to hear from you. It makes all of us feel like we're not alone in this. All of us can get defensive from time to time. So what do you do to stop this cycle? You start noticing when this vulnerability and your inner belief that you're not good enough gets activated. The one that says, I'm failing, I'm not a good enough of a partner or a person, I always mess things up. Your belief probably came from years ago, not your current relationship. And then when you recognize this in the moment, you need to reframe and start saying to yourself, this isn't about me being a bad partner. It's okay that my partner feels hurt. All of us get disappointed and feel hurt in relationships from time to time. That's the most normal part of every relationship, and it's inevitable. That doesn't mean that as a partner, I'm unlovable or I'm failing. It just means we're two different people trying to connect. You can even check in with your partner and say, hey, I notice I'm feeling a little bit frustrated or a little bit defensive that you brought that up. It actually makes me feel like I'm letting you down. So what are you actually saying? Are you saying that I'm letting you down and failing you? Or you're saying something else to me? So this way you're checking in. You're not making assumptions about what your partner means. Chances are your partner will say, no, I just want you to hear how I felt. And I'm just trying to get some validation from you and some understanding. And boom, that's how you start repairing, right there with this approach. But just understanding why you get defensive won't be enough to stop defensiveness in its tracks. When you're activated and triggered in a moment, you need real tools to catch it, regulate yourself, and stop things from spiraling. These are the same strategies I give to my couples to work through these moments. If you want to learn about these strategies and how to handle defensiveness in your relationship differently, watch the video on your screen now.